All right, so now we're going to talk about the turkey dinner, which is the first context for learning unit, and this is my first page that I've ever, or my first video I've ever recorded about it, so I'm super excited about that. And you're going to see on your website chart that we have 2 days for intro to context for learning. Excuse the format, my computer is still saving this page for some reason. And then we have 3 days, the rest of that week, where we start formally the big dinner. We have day 1A, 1B. So in the booklet, that's day 1, split into 2 pieces. And then day 2, and 2B continues, but we're going to end up doing a constructed response that day. So we're squeezing 2 a little bit, but I think it will be okay. You really have 3 days to do this first investigation, and however it goes, like these are estimates. If you can squeeze your gallery walk in on this day and use this whole day for a math congress, awesome. Go ahead and do it. Let me talk you through the content a bit. So the whole module is about multiplication, and you are figuring out the costs for a dinner and the amount of time for a dinner the whole time. So you price some ingredients for the turkey, you price some apples and carrots, you price some potatoes, you try to cook the dinner, right? These are all different investigations around this big dinner that you're going to host. So we use that to think about multiplication, but when you start, you're just going to start with Intro to Context for Learning, which I have totally made up for you. And what I've done is I've taken these 2 days and I've split these 5 things that are part of Problem of the Day into those 2 days. And you're going to do them as quickly as possible. You're not trying to teach content, you're trying to teach the routine so that when you get into the real problem of the day, you're not spending a huge amount of time being like, this is what the mini lesson is. This is our behavior. You're still going to have to do that, but at least you've had one other conversation about it. It should go a smidge faster. I also think it's important to kind of like name the block and explain to kids what it is. So I'll talk you through that a little bit. On the first day of school, you're going to do this PowerPoint. I will always try to list the materials for you. And you're going to say, listen, there are lots of different ways to learn. We have already had what we're going to call our My Math block, right? During this part of the day, we're going to learn math in a really special way. We call it Problem of the Day. And in order to think about the way we're going to learn during this part of the day, I want you to think about a baby. How does a baby learn to walk? And let some kids share out, right? And then this is when you, the teacher, really are going to sell it. You're going to say something along the lines of like, a baby learns to walk by actually trying to walk. And the same is true in mathematics, that we learn to do math by actually doing math. And you're going to do lots of math in My Math. But the difference is that in My Math, a lot of times your teammate or I are going to tell you how to do it. We might ask some questions and discover a little bit for ourselves, but a lot of it is someone else having explained to you. And part of being a mathematician is also figuring it out for yourself. And ultimately, that's how a baby learns to walk. Like when a baby stands up, right? No one is like, okay, baby, this is your right foot and let's practice. Let's move that right foot forward. Let's move that right foot back. Okay, now you don't get to do your left foot until you get your right foot correct. And you only get to, you can only practice walking, baby, right? Like the baby just like tries on its own, really hard working. And the baby falls and maybe the baby cries and the baby has to crawl first, right? Like it's a real struggle, and it's ultimately like the baby doing it that helps the baby learn. So that's what we're going to do during this time. We're not just going to learn math. We are going to do math. We are going to be mathematicians ourselves now. You don't have to wait to grow up to be a mathematician. And so it's really exciting because we're going to get to not only talk about mathematics, we're going to talk about what exactly does it mean to even be a mathematician, right? So that's our job. And we're going to do it with these 5 things. And teachers, I would recommend you have this on a poster so that you can refer to like what part of the day you're at. You might even make little notes about like your behavior expectations. I was even thinking you could talk about like during the mini lesson, like, oh, how was it I framed it? Like during the problem of the day intro, we're using our ears to really listen. Oh, during the mini lesson, we're using our thumbs. Because we're saying, you know, thumbs up, I get it. Thumbs down, I don't get it. Pretend that's a thumb. Okay, that's a hand. We use our ears. During work times, you know, maybe we say we're using our brains, although we're using our brains the whole time. During poster time, we're using our markers, right? And during math congress, we're using our voices. Maybe that's what it is we say. You know, there's different ways to kind of organize this for kids so that as you start to go along and you say, hey, now it's time for a mini lesson, they like tune in. They know the behavior expectations. They're ready to go. You know, it's time for work time. They're with you, right? So that's part of what we're doing. And then you're just going to begin. And teachers, on the first day, you're going to get through these 3. And on the next day, you're going to get through these 2. And again, getting through them isn't the important thing so much as it is talking about the expectations and how it feels and how you want kids to behave, right? So, mini lesson. And these are my notes. You should edit them to like work for you, okay? When we do a mini lesson, I'm going to show you a problem. You'll think and put up a thumb when you've got it, right? And then we might do a turn and talk, or I might call on someone to share. And we're going to do this a few times, and I'm going to write things down. It's literally that simple. Like, we don't even need any material. It's just going to be problem, think, problem, think, problem, think. So let's do it. And then teachers, you're going through doing the number string the way that we will have talked and practiced. You know, do this, thumbs up, thumbs down, talk about how you got it. Do this, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's a short number string, and it's not even important you do it all. It's just like, okay, that's what number strings feel like. That feels more similar to my math, right? Because it's like whiteboard practice, but without a whiteboard. It's just in our brains. But now the next thing we could do is when I introduce the problem. And all that's going to happen is I'm going to tell you a story, and you're going to help me solve a problem. Right? This is when you use your brain. You're just like thinking, getting ready to solve, right? And it shouldn't take very long if we practice perfect listening, if everybody is still listening silently on that carpet, right? So here's an example. Let's try it. This is a real problem I'm actually having because I bought 2 subs thinking like I was going to meet just one friend after school, but now I need to share them with 2 friends because I have 2 friends coming after school. And so there's going to be 3 of us. And I need you to help me figure out how should I share 2 subs between 3 people. That's it, guys. We just did the problem intro. You did great. You followed the expectations perfectly. Now it's work time. Now, this is a lot of rules for work time. Like, the truth is, like, work. That's it. The things I want to, I guess, highlight are sometimes there will be other tools. This is really important, teachers, because one of the things mathematicians do is they choose tools, right? So I actually have you, I say here that you're going to need graph paper, rulers, and Unifix cubes, because even if those aren't the right tools for the job, choosing not to use the tools is something too, and is really important, right? So that's really important that you highlight that there's always going to be tools. And then otherwise, like, let them get to work, right? Tell them what they're going to get, and they work. And even if they only take a few minutes, even if what they say is, we're going to cut these in half, and you guys can each have half, and then take half home. Like, that's a solution. It still makes 2 subs. Okay? I did not specify that these had to be equal. I am not pressed about that kind of mathematics right now. What I'm pressed about is that they get a concept of these pieces and how they work together and how they feel, and that you feel like you got to tell people about the directions, right, in a way that was like productive. So the next day, right, you're just going to remind them, like, remind me what a baby has to do with math, right? Here's the parts of our block. We did these 3, now we're doing these 2. Great. Who can remind me about the problem we were working on? Now it's poster time. Two things happen during poster time. You make the poster, you do the gallery walk. So let's start with making the poster. I'm not going to give you long because this is just practice right now. So make the poster with your answer and how you thought of it. The only thing you need to know is that other people are looking at this poster to see what you really were thinking, not just the answer. Great. Now it's time for the gallery walk. It's got to be silent. You can write notes on Post-its. Here's your two choices. Let's try it. Okay, now it's time for Math Congress. So this is a tight day. You've got 3 things to happen. If you divide your 30 minutes and give or take a few, you can spend about 6 minutes, teachers, on each of these questions. That's it, right? Have one group come up and share. Nothing miraculous needs to happen. We're just setting that tone for the workshop model and getting everybody comfortable and sold on it, right? Then you can start the real thing. Okay? Sorry, let me find it. Oh my gosh. The real turkey dinner, which is so exciting. On day 1, it's so simple. I've written for you right here. There's an intro and there's work time. It's literally that simple. So you just show this ad and you say, you build it up. Guys, I am planning a dinner. I know it's not Thanksgiving and this is an old flyer that says Thanksgiving, but I'm planning a dinner. And I really need your help because it's going to be a really huge dinner. Make up some reason for the dinner. And I am going to buy a 24-pound turkey. Turkey, it says here, and I know it's true because I checked in the store still, it's $1.25 per pound. How do you think, so each pound of the turkey, they can charge me $1.25. How much do you think it's going to cost me? I want it an exact price for 24 pounds. You have 20 minutes to work. Try to solve my problem. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you to make a poster. If you finish early, I'm going to ask you to do it a different way, so don't rush. No points for finishing first. Points for thinking. Points for explaining. Okay? Go ahead. That's literally your instruction on the first day of school to the whole group. That's the only words you're really going to say to the whole group. Then you're going to hustle around pushing student thinking. And we'll talk about what that means when we meet, right? Your job is to think, what do I think they're actually going to do? Next day, work time and poster making. So you're yesterday I had this problem. What was it? Okay, you can have 5 more minutes to work, but then it's going to be time to make your posters. So wrap up your solution, get an answer, then it's poster making time. Right? You can talk a little bit about the poster. The biggest thing is that if there are mistakes, just move on, no big deal. But that's it. That's that day too. So one of the things I hope you see is that even though sometimes the pieces feel like they're all over the place, at the end of the day, setting it up isn't the hard part, right? The hard part is giving it your 100% attention to interact with the kids and raise their level as they're working. Last day of the week, day 2A, technically, because there's a 2B that goes into the next week, but we wrap up the investigation on this day, is the gallery walk and the Math Congress. Yesterday we worked on a problem. It's time for our gallery walk. Here are the rules. Here are some comments. Don't take a long time. You already taught them a bit what a gallery walk is, so this should be review, right? You need to leave at least 20 minutes to share. And you can even go into sharing the following Monday if you want to. You definitely have that option. Because I really, really, really want you to be able to get the best ideas out of this turkey dinner day. There's going to be a lot of cool ways for kids to find that answer that we'll talk about. So those are the logistics. And it's going to be fun. Have fun.